Let's be real for a second. We have all been there. You fall for someone, and deep down, this little voice is just screaming, "This is a terrible idea." But you do it anyway. Today, we're going to get into the actual science of why this painful pattern keeps happening, and, way more importantly, how to finally stop it.
I mean, seriously, does this sound familiar? You meet someone, and the connection, it just feels electric, right? Like lightning. But the red flags are there. You see them. Your friends definitely see them. Your logical brain is waving them in your face. And yet, some other force, something deeper and way more powerful, just pulls you in. And you go for it, only to wind up in the exact same spot. Hurt, confused, and wondering, why did I let that happen again?
Okay, I really need you to hear this, loud and clear. You are not broken. You do not have terrible taste in people. This isn't some string of cosmic bad luck. There is a powerful, predictable, and scientific reason this happens, and it's buried deep in your subconscious and your brain chemistry. And honestly, the best part is this. Once you finally understand it, you can actually change it.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with that core pattern you just can't seem to escape. Then, we'll trace it all the way back to its roots, your childhood attachment code. From there, we'll dive into the mind-blowing science of what's happening in your brain, expose the sneaky psychological traps that keep you stuck, and then finally, give you the tools to start rewriting your own love story.
All right, let's get right to the heart of it. We're kicking things off with the fundamental reason this all happens. And look, this idea might feel a little weird at first, but I promise you it is the key to unlocking everything else.
So here it is, the uncomfortable truth. Your brain isn't actually looking for a kind, stable, healthy partner. Its main mission is to find what feels familiar. It's literally scanning the world for a pattern it already recognizes, a dynamic that feels like home. And for so many of us, what felt like home growing up, well, it wasn't always safe or healthy. It was just what we knew.
Think of it like this. Way back when you were a little kid, your brain created something called a love map. It's this unconscious blueprint of what love and connection are supposed to feel like, based almost entirely on your earliest relationships with your parents or caregivers. And that map, it becomes your attraction compass for the rest of your life, pointing you toward people who fit that original mold, for better or often for worse.
So, if our love map is the compass, where did it get its directions from in the first place?
Well, the answer is in something called attachment theory. You can kind of think of this as the source code that programs the entire system. Let's dig in.
Now, what's really wild here is just how incredibly normal these struggles are. If you see yourself in these patterns, you are so far from being alone. I mean, look at this. Over 40% of all people have an insecure attachment style. That means their relationship source code has some bugs that make calm, secure love feel kind of weird. You're in a very big club.
And this table right here just brilliantly shows the direct link. Check out the anxious style. If you had parents who were sometimes there for you and sometimes not, inconsistent care, it hardwires a deep adult fear of being abandoned. Now look at avoidant. If you had emotionally distant parents, it programs a fear of being suffocated, of losing yourself in a relationship. You see? It's a direct cause and effect line from your childhood to the fears driving you today.
And this programming creates probably the most common dynamic out there, the anxious-avoidant trap. Oh man, it's this addictive, painful dance. The anxious person needs closeness, right? But that makes the avoidant person feel smothered, so they pull away. Of course, that withdrawal triggers the anxious person's biggest fear of abandonment, so they chase even harder. This just makes the avoidant person pull back even further, and the cycle just repeats over and over, creating this super intense, drama-filled bond that feels like passion but is really just an anxiety loop.
Okay, so we've talked about the psychology, the software. Now let's get into the hardware. Because this isn't just about feelings, it's about neurochemistry. When we say that falling for the wrong person feels like an addiction, we are not being metaphorical at all. I mean, just let that sink in. Groundbreaking research from Helen Fisher showed that the parts of our brain that light up when we're falling head over heels in love are the exact same reward pathways that are activated by things like cocaine. Your brain is literally treating this person like a drug. So let's look at the chemicals in this cocktail. You see dopamine? It feels like thrilling excitement, this intense wanting. But what it really is, it's an addiction to the uncertainty of it all. And those butterflies, that's cortisol. We think it's passion. It's not. It's a chronic stress response. Your body is literally in fight or flight mode. And oxytocin, the so-called cuddle hormone, It's more like superglue. It creates an intense bond, but it does not care if the person is good or bad for you. It just glues you on tight.
And this is where that dopamine really gets its hooks in you. It's a psychological principle called intermittent reinforcement, but I just call it the slot machine effect. An inconsistent partner is a human slot machine. You just never know when you're going to get a reward, a nice text, a good day, so you keep pulling that lever over and over and over. That very unpredictability creates bonds that are 3 to 5 times harder to break than relationships where the affection is just consistent and reliable.
So, this right here might be one of the most important things you ever learn about love. Those butterflies, the ones we've all been taught are the ultimate sign of romance, that's not love. That's anxiety. That is your nervous system flooded with the stress hormone cortisol, screaming at you that this person feels unpredictable and unsafe. Healthy, secure love, it doesn't feel like butterflies. It feels like calm. It feels like coming home.
Okay, so we've got the childhood programming and we've got the brain addiction, but there's a third layer to all this that just reinforces everything, the cognitive traps. These are the mental stories you tell yourself that justify staying in the cycle.
So there's this Freudian concept called repetition compulsion. Basically, it's your unconscious mind trying to go back in time and heal an old wound by replaying the exact same scene, just with a new actor. So, if you had a critical parent, you'll pick a critical partner, unconsciously hoping that this time, you'll finally be good enough to win their approval and fix that original pain. But the tragedy is, you can't heal a wound with the same weapon that caused it. You just end up getting hurt all over again.
And running underneath all of this are your core beliefs about yourself and what you deserve. These beliefs, they act like magnets. If deep down you believe, I'm not good enough, you will be unconsciously drawn to people who make you feel exactly that, because it confirms your inner reality. So, what's the story you're telling yourself about love? Because that story is determining who you choose, every single time.
This brings us to the biggest mistake we all make. We confuse chemistry with compatibility. That intense can't eat, can't sleep feeling we call chemistry, you know what that often is? It's just the electric shock of your subconscious recognizing a familiar wound. True compatibility, it's much quieter. It's shared values, it's mutual respect, it's feeling safe. We are addicted to chasing the fireworks of chemistry, when what we really need is the steady, warm glow of compatibility.
Now, I know this can all sound pretty heavy, maybe even a little hopeless, but the entire point of dragging these unconscious patterns into the light is so that you can finally do something about them. This is not your destiny. This is the part where you take your power back.
Okay, so here are the steps. First, awareness. You just can't change what you don't acknowledge. Name your pattern. Understand your attachment style. Second, and this is a big one, you have to give boring a chance. That calm, peaceful feeling you get with a secure person, your brain might flag it as boring at first. It's not boring, it's safety. That's the new chemistry. Third, set standards based on how they behave, not just how you feel. How do they treat you consistently? And finally, the most important step of all, build a secure relationship with yourself. Become your own source of validation. That way, you're choosing a partner from a place of wholeness, not from a place of need. And this quote from the great Carl Jung just says it all, doesn't it? As long as these patterns, your love map, your attachment style, are running on autopilot in your subconscious, it will feel like fate. You'll think, I guess this is just how love is for me. But the second you bring them into conscious awareness, the second you see them for what they are, just old programming, they stop being fate. They become a choice.
And really, that's the ultimate takeaway here.
This isn't just a bunch of interesting information. It is a tool for your own freedom. You have the map now, you understand the science, the power is officially back in your hands. So the question is no longer, why do I keep falling for the wrong person? The real question now is, who are you going to choose now that you know?